We're going to take the warm-up now to the next level, doing more kneeling and then standing work to get a more full body dynamic warm-up. We're going to start seated on our heels. Our knees are going to be hip-width apart. Hands are in a genie position, keeping our spine nice and straight, crown of the head towards the ceiling. We're doing half squats for 5. So you're going to think about your pelvis staying in a neutral position, driving through the hips at the top. You're going to curl your pelvis under and really squeeze through the hips to activate through the glutes. You're going to repeat for 5, keeping your body upright. So what I mean by that is trying not to pitch your body forward as you sit down or pitch it forward as you come up, keeping in the upright position and driving through the hips. 2 more times, squeeze. And again at the top, curl the pelvis and squeeze. You're gonna take a seat, bring the knees together, and then we're gonna take that into a lunge position. So you're gonna come up through your half squat, transfer weight into one leg, step the opposite leg forward, curl the pelvis at the top, squeeze the hip, and drive it forward as you feel the opening stretch through the front of your hip. Step back and take a seat. Let's do 5 on the same side. So we're gonna drive up through your half squat, step forward into your lunge, curl the pelvis, drive the hip forward, and take a seat back down. You can make this quite dynamic as long as you're squeezing or sequencing properly, thinking about all the little pieces of curling through the pelvis and activating the hip as you press forward. Woo, let's go 5 on the other side. Half squat, step, curl, and glide. Curl, squeeze, and glide. Okay, 3 more. We're gonna do 5 on this side as well. Last one. Okay, finishing in the upright position, we're gonna go back to our original leg. So we're kneeling on our right knee, our left foot is gonna be forward. From here, we're just gonna hold the stretch. So you're gonna curl the pelvis, squeeze and glide. We're just gonna hold for 5 seconds. For 5, 3, 2, 1. Release, curl the pelvis, squeeze and glide. Notice you're squeezing and gliding and it's like the hip is opening up. So you start in the stretch, but the stretch will release and increase as you continue to hold it. And then let it go. We're gonna take the stretch from the front of the hip more down into the upper part of the thigh. So just gonna release the hip back slightly, turn your back toe under, and just that sequencing of the flexing of the ankle is gonna take that stretch into a different position in your body. So you're gonna curl your pelvis, squeeze your hip, and press the hip forward. Hold for 5. And release, curl the pelvis, squeeze the hip and glide it forward. For 3, 2, 1, we're gonna take this into a mobilization now. You might wanna place the hands on your hips or hold them in another position that helps you stay a bit more balanced, because this definitely requires some stability. Most people struggle with stability when they're in the lunge position. You're gonna come to standing. You're in this long, straight, split stance position. My heel is lifted. If you plant the heel down, the tendency is for most people need to turn it. So we wanna keep the heel lifted so that we have both feet straight so that our hips and knees are tracking straight the whole time. You're gonna slowly glide down through your lunge position, ideally your knees just a little bit back past your hip joint. You're curling the pelvis and squeezing the hip to slowly lower down. We're taking about 5 seconds to do that. I like to hold the stretch at the bottom because you get a really juicy stretch in your thigh at the bottom. You're gonna hold it there for 2 seconds and then return. Curl, squeeze the hip and glide for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the stretch for 2 seconds and lift. 2 more. Curl, squeeze and glide for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 1 more time. Lift, curl, and glide for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna walk your front foot a little bit wide. Take your hands down to your instep. Try to keep your back relatively flat. You're gonna walk your back knee back and lower your pelvis to the floor while keeping your front knee stacked over your ankle. Staying nice and low. You're going to turn your back toe under and straighten through the back leg. Now the tendency, even when your leg is straight, is to feel a little bit of slack in the back of the knee. I really want you to think of pressing through your back heel and squeezing this thigh so that your leg is very, very straight. We're holding the stretch here. Mostly you're going to feel the stretch a little bit through the front of this hip, but also quite a bit through the back of your front leg. Okay, so through the hip and through the groin slightly. Holding this stretch for 10 seconds. Dropping the back knee, allowing the pelvis to lower to the floor. And if you can lower your torso a little bit more, some people can even come down onto their elbows. On this hip, I cannot do that, but you might be able to. Really allow your torso to drop forward and press the hip towards the floor. A few more seconds. Okay, so we have to do that, just the lunge sequence part on the other side, for which I'm just going to turn around. Okay, so we're back in this split stance position or the lunge position. We're thinking about just holding the stretch first. So you're curling the pelvis, squeezing the hip, and just gliding forward, holding the stretch and feeling the hip flexors release and open. 2, for 1, we release. Try and retuck the pelvis, activate through the buttocks. You're just squeezing it to press the hip forward. Activating through the glute helps to release through the hip flexor. For 2, for 1, release. To stretch now more through the front of the thigh, we're going to release the hip back slightly to create some slack so that we can turn the toes under and then reproduce the stretch. So you're going to tuck the pelvis if you can, squeeze the hip and glide forward. Our fronts of our thighs are usually really, really tight. So if you feel like you don't go very far, that's very normal. And if you have a hard time turning your toes under, that is also very normal. Our thighs tend to be quite tight. Release back, curl through the pelvis, squeeze the hip and glide. For 3, for 2, for 1. Again, we're going to come to standing. We have 4 reps of this very challenging exercise, but it feels good to open up those thighs. You're going to curl through the pelvis, keep the back foot nice and straight, heel lifted. You're gliding down on a 5 count. Think of the pelvis wheeling under the whole time, or pulling the pubic bone up to the belly button. When you're at the bottom, you're going to hold the stretch, keep tucking and pressing for 2, for 1. We're raising up, curl, and glide for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the stretch for 2. We're halfway. We got 2 to go. We're going to lift, curl, and glide for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Curl, squeeze, hold for 2, for 1, and lift, curl, glide for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck, squeeze, hold for 2, for 1. Our deep lunge stretch. Walk the front foot a little bit wide. Take your hands down to the instep of that front foot. Keeping the front knee stacked over the ankle, you're going to glide the back knee back, reach it down the mat. Lower your chest towards the floor, turn your back toe under, push through that back heel again. Squeeze the thigh of the back leg. So you're really trying to straighten that leg, press through the heel actively, and lower the pelvis to the floor. I'm slightly pulling the knee of the front leg wide to create some space through that front hip to increase the stretch. For 3, for 2, for 1, lower the back knee. And again, if you can walk down onto your elbows or just work to lower your chest to the floor. To increase the stretch, you're actively pushing the pelvis down towards the floor. Okay. I bet you're glad we completed that dynamic warm-up. In this next series, we're going to work on our mid-back strength and postural muscles. We're going to be working in multiple different planes as well as using some small weights. Today I have these 3-pound weights, but honestly anything from 1 to 2 up to 3 pounds is completely fine, whatever you have available to you. We're going to begin laying down. So you're going to come to laying down on your tummy. Whenever we lay down, we want to make sure that we're thinking about staying connected through our abdominals a little bit so that we're not just laying and arching through our back. So you want to think about lifting your belly away from the floor slightly or tucking the pelvis, creating length through your lower back. You're going to be facing the floor. Most of the time when we're doing exercises laying down like this, I usually say look straight down, but keep your nose hovering 1 to 2 inches from the floor. This creates some length through our neck so that our neck muscles stay in the right alignment for the exercise. Okay? We're going to begin just placing our hands down by our shoulders, looking straight down at the floor. Let's just begin with upper back extension, just learning how to use the muscles of the upper back, our postural muscles. Okay, so pelvis is a little bit tucked. You're going to begin gliding the shoulder blades down away from your ears. On the exhale, you're going to look towards the end of the mat and start to peel up through your chest until about the base of the ribs. To do this, we want to make sure we're using our upper back muscles, not our lower back muscles. If you're using your lower back muscles, you'll feel yourself push your belly into the floor and want to lift higher. If you can see, I'm probably arching through my lower back quite a bit more. If I come back down and I tuck my pelvis again, in this position, you can see that my lower back muscles hopefully are not arched or not as active. You're gonna hold here for a lengthening breath and inhale, and then lower yourself back down to looking straight down at the floor again. Let's try that again. So we're gonna go inhale, shoulder blades down. Exhale, curl your pelvis and lift up through to the base of the ribs, looking down the horizon of the floor. Inhale to hold the position, and exhale to lower back down. Let's just do one more. Inhale, shoulder blades down. Exhale to peel up through your upper back. Inhale to stay. Exhale to lower back down. Next up, we're gonna add the weight of the arms. You're gonna take your palms down, hovering just beside your thighs, getting them as tight to your thighs as possible, but keeping your arms nice and straight. From here now, when we reach our shoulder blades down, it's like we're stretching towards our feet. Then we're gonna peel up through our breastbone again, but keep reaching the hands to the feet. This will give you a sense of having a nice open chest, or I say long through the collarbones is the sense that we have. You're gonna hold for an inhale and exhale to peel back down. We're just gonna do 2 more here. Inhale, reach for your feet. Exhale, look over the horizon of the floor and peel up through your upper back. Hold for an inhale and exhale to peel back down. One more time. Inhale, stretch through your arms. Exhale to peel up. Inhale to stay. Exhale to lower back down. Now working through the mid-back muscles a little bit more, we're gonna grab our weights, place the end of the weight down beside our hips or just below our hips by our thighs. Looking straight down at the floor, you're gonna think about dropping your shoulder blades down or stretching your weights to your feet, and then squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift the arms up behind you. We're holding here for 3, for 2, for 1, lowering back down with control. When you lift the arms up, the tendency is for the head of the shoulder to want to drop forward. So you have to work extra hard to pull your shoulder blades together so that doesn't happen. For 2, for 1, and lower. We'll do 3 more. Lift and squeeze. For 3, for 2, for 1. The whole time that I'm lifting the weights, I'm thinking of stretching towards my feet. For 2, for 1, and lower. Take a breath and lift and hold. For 3, for 2, for 1, and lower. Now let's see if we can put those last 2 exercises together. So we're gonna lift up into upper back extension as well as lift through our mid back, lifting the weights, okay? So grabbing a hold, looking down at the mat. Inhale, reach the shoulder blades down. On the exhale, you're gonna peel up through the upper back, simultaneously lifting through the weights. Hold for a breath. Peel back down and lower the weights with control. Inhale, shoulder blades down. Exhale, peel up and lift. Inhale to stay. Exhale to peel back down. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, peel up. Lift through your mid back. Hold for the inhale. And lower back down. Inhale. Exhale, peel and lift. Inhale to stay. Exhale, lower with control. Okay, from there, you're just gonna place your hands underneath your chest, push yourself back into a quick shell. Stay for a diaphragmatic breath. And come on up to sitting back on our heels. Now I know not everyone can sit on their heels well, so if you want to be in tall kneeling here, that's perfectly fine, okay? Otherwise, we're sitting down on our heels, thinking about being straight through our spine. Hands are dropped, holding the weights down by our sides. Dropping your shoulder blades down, looking straight ahead. We're just gonna raise our arms out in front of us. As we raise the arms up, I want you to focus on keeping your shoulder blades packed down and not allowing yourself to stretch forward. Sometimes you can really see in your peripheral vision the front of the shoulder. So you wanna keep the shoulder pulled back and down as you raise the weights up, keeping your body nice and stable. We're gonna do this 5 times, just raising up in front of us, looking straight, holding for 1 pineapple, and lowering with control. Raise and hold, the body doesn't move, keeping the shoulders packed down, and lowering back down. 2 more. Next up, we're gonna bring our elbows down by our sides and palms facing up. So we're in this bent bicep curl position. Again, we're wanting to keep the shoulders packed down as we press our arms out in front of us. Again, the tendency here is to wanna shrug and raise our arms forward. So as we begin, we're packing our shoulders down, slightly pulling our shoulder blades together to keep our chest and posture nice and open, and just raising our hands out in front of us until we can fully extend the arms to straight, not quite locking the elbows, but really, really close. You will find that every time you bring your elbows back in towards your sides, you're gonna wanna reset those shoulder blades again, because they will rise up a little bit. They'll at least change positions slightly as you raise your arms out. So you wanna reset them back down. Let's do 2 more. Finishing with a lateral raise. I'm gonna come up to tall kneeling for this one just to make space. Keeping the shoulders packed down, you're just gonna raise up and out to the sides. Holding the height of the arms, you're gonna draw them in front of the body without leaning back, and lowering down and reversing, raising out to the front, opening to the sides, and lower with control. Let's do 3 more. To the sides without shrugging through the shoulders. Maintaining the shoulders pressed down as you bring them out in front of you, and lowering down onto your thighs, raising out to the front, opening to the sides, and lowering with control. 2 more. Raise, bring them together, and lower. Lift, opening out to the sides. Last one. As we come out to the sides here, all you're gonna do is bend your elbows and turn your palms to face forward. We're gonna work on our rotator cuff. From here, you're gonna just allow the forearm to lower, but the elbow is gonna hold in space. You're gonna lower into what's called the hang position, so this fully internally rotated position for the shoulder. You do have a tendency to shrug a little bit in this position. It's sort of unavoidable a little bit, but you want to minimize. Then you're gonna rotate through the upper arm as you raise the hands back up into the start position. If you saw me sideways facing, you would notice that my arms are in the same alignment, meaning that my hand is stacked directly over the elbow as I hold this position, not sort of deviated in front of it. It's stacked directly over the top. I hope that makes sense. Lowering into the hang position. Without moving your upper arm, you're pulling your hand back, squeezing it back to increase the range of motion of the rotator cuff, lowering back into the hang, and lift. I really like this exercise for rotator cuffs. We're gonna do 6 reps of it, just a little bit extra. We're on number 5. Squeezing back, last one. Hopefully you get a sense of really opening up your posture in this series, feeling your shoulders pulling back and activating through the mid-back, which usually feels really good, so I hope it does. For the second series, we're going to be using the small stability ball. We're going to begin placing the ball between our knees and coming into our 4-point position. When you're placing the ball between the knees, immediately you want to think about activating through the inner thighs, which is going to help with our pelvic stability and help improve our use of abdominals as we're performing this series. So between the knees, coming down into our 4-point position, you're going to take a nice wide spread of the fingers, plant them down into the floor. Then you're going to make sure the center of your shoulder joint is stacked directly over your wrist and the hip joints stacked directly over the knees, forming a nice 4-point position. From here, you want to get the sense of a long neck, so the crown of your head is being drawn out forward and your back is nice and flat. We begin with a basic cat stretch, setting the shoulder blades down, taking a large inhale into the back and feeling the rib cage expand to the back and sides. On the exhale, you're going to squeeze the ball with your inner thighs and start to curl your pelvis under, flexing through the spine as you would through a typical cat stretch. Holding for an inhale as you fill the back with air. And exhale, kicking your pelvis to neutral and sequencing through the spine and wrapping the shoulder blades down. We're going to do this 4 times. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the ball, curl through the pelvis and flex the spine, really pressing up through your mid-back. Inhale to hold the position. Exhale, lengthening through the spine and setting the shoulder blades down. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze. Emphasize that curl of the pelvis, so we're really flexing through the lower back. The tendency in this exercise is to want to flex primarily through the mid-back, really letting the upper back round. But the emphasis we're having here is flexing through our lower back, really getting our pelvis to tuck under. As you squeeze the ball, you can also think about squeezing your glutes and curling that pelvis under. Take a breath and lengthening through the spine, tail, through head, moving on to puppy in the snow. In this exercise, try to make sure that your hips don't drift backwards. Keep the weight in your upper body. You're just going to peel through one hand and lift that hand off the floor, feeling yourself needing to brace, activating that pop can brace so that your body doesn't move, replacing that hand. Squeezing the ball, lifting the left hand, and replace. Squeeze and lift, going back and forth 4 times. Every time you're about to lift, you're thinking of opening up the diaphragm with your breath and then holding that brace of that diaphragm stretch and contraction to help create the stability so that your body doesn't swing from side to side. Let's work on our upper body range of motion. You're going to stretch your right hand out in front of you and raise it up towards the sky, trying to work your upper body range of motion. And place it back down. Let's go left. Stretching left, lift and reach, and return. Every time as I'm about to lift, I'm sequencing my breath so that I'm braced, and I'm squeezing the ball a little bit to help create extra stability so that my body isn't swinging too much from side to side. 4 reps in total. Finishing up the last rep here. Keeping that nice wide spread of the fingers, double check that your shoulders are still over your wrists. We're going to rotate the arm so that the crease of the elbow faces forward and reset the shoulder blades down. So we have a really strong shoulder girdle. From here, you're going to turn your toes under, take an inhale to prepare, squeeze the ball without changing the shape of the spine. You're going to lift your knees to hover an inch from the floor. You're going to hold this position without allowing the back to arch excessively or allowing it to tuck under and round. I'm just going to try and hold a neutral spine or a flat back posture for a few more seconds. And lowering it down. Inhale to prepare. We're going to do that again. Exhale, squeeze the ball, set the shoulder blades down, brace and lift and hold. We're holding for about 10 seconds. I promise I'm counting in my head. In 5, 3, 2, 1, and replace. One more time. We inhale to prepare. Brace, set the shoulder blades, squeeze the ball, and lift, holding that great shape. In 5, 3, 2, 1, and release. We're gonna get rid of the orange ball here now. I'm just gonna place it out of the way and focus just on a hip mobility, staying in the 4-point position. If at any time you're feeling like your wrists are getting a bit sore, which is not uncommon, you may want to decompress them just by coming up and stretching the wrist the other way slightly. Alternatively, you can always come down onto your elbows. I'm going to stay on my hands for now, increase the strength and mobility through the wrist, but you do what's best for you. From here, we're going to extend through the right leg. So without the body moving, we create our Popcaan brace. You're going to slide your right toes down the floor. Ideally in this position, you haven't bent into or leaned into your left side of your body too much. The tendency is to sort of roll to the side. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but a little bit like that as you extend through the right leg. From here, you're gonna hold this position, squeeze your right buttock and lift your leg up until it's in line with the spine. The tendency as we do this is for, as we lift the leg, for it to cause us to collapse through our lower back. So I often say, thinking about doing a little cat stretch before you're about to lift, so you have that sense of almost like you're tucking your pelvis as you're lifting that leg, and that has the tendency to help counterbalance that idea of the lower back collapsing. That's 4. We're gonna slide that leg in, but we're not finished on that side. We're gonna go for hip abduction now, keeping the 4-point position, setting the shoulder blades down, keeping a 90-degree bend in the knee. You're gonna lift that knee up and out to the side. You're gonna notice that you're working hip mobility when you do this exercise, but it's a real challenge for your upper body as well as your core brace. So it's an inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the right knee up and out to the side, really squeezing it up, holding at the end of the range before you lower it back down. So it's not just bouncing up and down or kicking up and down. It's a real squeeze out to the side with control, lifting as high as you can, trying to maintain that 90-degree bend in your knee as you lift, finishing for 4. And lowering it down. Now we're gonna sequence through those 2 exercises and kind of build them together in a more fluid hip circumduction type movement. So you're gonna start in that 4-point position, sliding your right leg down the floor, keeping your belly lifted. You're gonna lift that leg up in line with your body. Then you're gonna bend through the knee. It's like the heel kind of kicks towards your bum as you lift up into that hip abducted movement, and lower it down to the floor. And now we'll try and reverse it. So you're gonna hip abduct, squeeze the buttock as you lengthen it back out, in line with the body, keep the belly lifted, and lower it down. We'll do 3 of these in each direction. So we're gonna go leg slide, hip extension, lift the belly, circumduct into hip abduction, and lower. Lift that knee back out to the side, kick it back out in line with the body, and lower it down. One more time. Extend, lift, circumduct and out to the side, hold it, and lower, and lift. Take it all the way back, extend, and lower it down. New leg, same arms. I'm just gonna turn around in the opposite direction, get back into that nice 4-point position, wide spread of the fingers, shoulders over the wrists, wrapping the shoulder blades down. From here, knees are hip width apart. Keeping the belly lifted, we're gonna slide that leg down, squeeze the buttocks a little bit, and lift it behind you. Lower, and lift. Inhale, feel the ribs. Exhale, squeeze the leg and lift. Initiating with that little bit of a cat stretch, a little bit of a pelvic tuck as you lift. Slide it down, bring it in. That's 4 reps, hip abduction. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift and reach out to the side. Really squeeze and lower. This is a great challenge through your core brace, but also really stabilizing through your obliques as well. One more time. Putting it together. So we're gonna slide, hip extend, lift that knee up and out to the side, as high as you can with control, lower it down, and reverse. We're gonna lift, circle it around until it's in line with the body, and lower. Again, extend, and lift. Circumduct, get the knee nice and high and lower. Lift directly out to the side. Take it all the way out in line with the body. Lower it down. 2 more. Lengthen and lift. Out to the side, nice and high and lower. Lift it all the way up. Extend it back in line with the body. Lower it down. Last one. Lengthen and lift. Keep the shoulders down. Keep looking straight down at the floor. The tendency is to look under the body. Try not to do that because you tend to collapse through the shoulders. Take it back and lower. I know you're tired, but we're gonna take those, turn those toes under, come back into the 4-point position. We're gonna come down onto our elbows, into clasp our hands. Set the shoulder blades down, look beyond the mat, take a nice big breath, and lift into your hover again. We're staying here for another 10-second hold. This time, I really want you to emphasize pushing right from the middle of your back. You're gonna feel this less in the top of the shoulders if you do that, which will make it feel a little bit more manageable. For 3, for 2, for 1, and lower, just like before. We're gonna do that 3 times. So let's keep going here. Take a nice big breath. Shoulders down, look beyond your knuckles to keep your upper back nice and long. We're trying to maintain a relatively flat back, really emphasizing pushing from the armpits down. For 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. One more time, take a nice big breath and lift. Deep breaths. Try and keep the breath long, a long inhalation and a long exhalation. For 3, for 2, for 1, and rest, drop back into a shell. 2 nice big breaths, breathing into the back of the rib cage. And then slowly rolling up through cat, so tucking the pelvis, flexing through the spine, all the way up to sitting. You've completed this arm series. This is another standing series using our trusty medium-sized stability ball. We're going to be working through strengthening the lateral muscles of the hips, so the side hip muscles, as well as a little bit of upper back opening. We're going to start by placing the ball against the wall at a height that is in alignment with our hip joint. If you kind of imagine the center of the ball lining up with the center of your hip joint, and then placing the ball up against the wall. You're then going to walk into the ball till you feel like you can use your body to squeeze the ball into the wall. The tendency when we do this is to kind of stick your butt out a little bit. So you want to make sure that your feet are together and you're slightly pressing your hips forward as you press into the wall. You don't want to lean away or into the wall with your upper body. So it can be helpful to either place your hands on your hips or create genie arms to give you that sense of staying up nice and tall. To begin with, we're just going to stand up and press into the wall. As soon as you do this, you're going to notice that it's primarily the outside leg generating the force. This is the leg that's going to be doing most of the work. In fact, you should barely notice any weight being on the inside leg at all, or the leg that's closest to the wall. So you're going to inhale to prepare, and then press the ball into the wall and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. We're going to do that 2 more times. This exercise is so quintessential working on stability when you notice that it looks like you're not really doing that much, but for the person doing the exercise, it feels like you're working quite hard through your hip muscles. And relax, because we're working those smaller muscles, so they really feel the intensity of some of these moves. For 2, for 1, and rest. You then want to be standing close enough to the ball that you feel balanced, that you can even raise up through the leg that's closest to the wall. And then again, we're going to press using that single leg, pressing the ball into the wall and holding it for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and rest. Just 1 more of those. Pressing the ball into the wall for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. We're now going to do a hip drop exercise, which starts to lengthen and contract through these side hip muscles. Imagine your pelvis being relatively balanced here to begin. You're gonna think of rolling the ball down the wall, which has the effect of actually sitting into the hip in a little bit. So it's almost like you're sticking the hips out to the side. You're then gonna press the ball back into the wall. It does feel like a bit of a lean, but then you're gonna start to roll the ball up the wall. So you're coming through that balanced position through the hips that you started with, and then starting to raise the hip that's closest to the wall higher than the hip of the standing leg. You want to make sure you're not just shortening through your waist here. It really is about tilting your hips, coming back into the neutral position. You're rolling the ball down the wall, pressing the ball into the wall, raising up to the balanced position. Keep the pressure on the ball as you raise all the way up. If you're doing this exercise properly, it should already feel like a really good challenge. Make sure you really are trying to press the ball into the wall. If you feel like you can add intensity to this exercise, I doubt it, but if you feel like you can, then you can just add a bit more pressure of pushing the ball into the wall. We're gonna do that one more time, pressing and then rolling up. Coming back to that neutral position, you're gonna swing your leg that's closest to the wall forward into what we call the A stance position. Now the tendency is to either lean back or break through your standing leg when we do this. We wanna keep that standing leg nice and straight and stay up nice and tall through our upper body. Again, we're pressing the ball into the wall. We're holding it here for 15 seconds. Try and breathe. You're gonna feel a lot of burning in this outside hip. Just try and keep breathing and holding the position. Just 5 more seconds. Keep pushing that ball into the wall. Squeezing the buttocks for 2, for 1, and break. We're not quite done on this side though. We're gonna just sit down into a bit of a half squat position now. So you're just gonna roll the ball down the wall a few inches, sit down into a half squat position, which is a bit of a pike at the hips and a slight knee bend. Keeping the feet close together and walking the feet in towards the wall until you feel like you can put some pressure in the ball again, and then release the inside leg. Again, you're gonna press the ball into the wall. This particular position almost feels like a skating motion. It feels like you're trying to drive your leg out to the side laterally. You're gonna feel the work in the hip and a little bit through the thigh, but mostly in the hip. Keep pressing that ball hard into the wall. You should feel like you can generate quite a bit more force in this position because we're engaging bigger muscle groups, so it should feel more powerful. And feet down, take a break. We're gonna do that one more time. Take a breath. Get a good squat position, press the ball into the wall and release the inside leg. We're gonna hold it here for 10 seconds. In 5, 3, 2, 1, and relax. We have 2 legs. We gotta do it the other side. So we're just gonna turn around. Again, center of the ball in line with the center of your hip joint, placing the ball up against the wall. We're gonna walk our feet together into the ball. Find good pressure and press. Keeping the hips forward, really using this outside leg to drive the hips laterally into the wall for 2, for 1, and release. 5 seconds again. Take a breath and press. Notice that my body is not tilting at all from one side to the other. I'm trying to stay up nice and tall. I'm just driving my standing leg into the floor and pushing it laterally. And relax. You're gonna bend the leg that's closest to the wall, tuck the pelvis a little bit again, and press the ball into the wall for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and rest. One more time. Press and hold for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and rest. We're moving into our 5 hip drops. It's good to see this from behind because from the back you actually see the way that the pelvis is tilting in a subtle way, but really effective. So you're bending the leg that's closest to the wall again and the hip stays balanced. You're rolling the ball down the wall, which allows you to drop into the outside hip. You're then pressing into the ball. This is sort of a bit of a lean. It's a bit like body weight to create this press, but then you want to maintain that push as you roll the ball up the wall, really elevating through the hip that's closest to the wall, but lifting out through your standing leg. Lowering down, sitting out to the side, press and lift. Lower, press, and raise it up. That's 3 of 5. push and lift and lower and push and lift. Really raise it all the way up as high as you can go. Bring it back down into the balanced position. We have our A stance balance with pressure. So you're gonna raise that leg that's on the ball into your A stance position again, staying up nice and tall and not breaking through that bottom leg, and press into the wall, holding it here for 15 seconds. That's 5. Keep pushing. Just 5 more seconds. Keep that pressure. Woo! And rest. Shake it out. Okay, we're doing our squat position now. So we're rolling the ball down the wall a few inches, piking at the hips, so hinging forward, pressing the ball into the wall. Big push and raise that inside leg. Press hard. For 3, for 2, for 1. Reset up. Get nice and tight, close to the wall. Find your squat position. Press into the wall. Press hard and hold. 10 seconds. In 2, 1, and release. Woo. Okay, we're gonna finish with leg strengthening exercise because we're gonna be doing a squat, a wall squat position with the added benefit of using the ball to open up through the upper back. So we're gonna start with the ball in the center of our back and coming close to the wall and setting ourselves up in a wall squat position. You want your feet about shoulder width apart and straight. You can go as high or as low in the wall squat position as you like to challenge your lower body, because we are gonna hang out and stay here for a while. The ball should be at a point in your back where it feels like it gets to open you up, not arching through your lower back so much. We want the lower back and pelvis to be neutral, but you feel like you can push your upper back into the ball in a way that feels really, really nice, and then allow your upper back to open up over the ball. From here, we're gonna come into this 90-degree bend in our elbows, holding our shoulders up at chest height. You wanna draw your elbows back towards the wall, and you wanna try and take your hands with you. So the tendency when we pull our elbows back is to allow our hands to drop forward, but we're trying to open up through our rotator cuff and stretch through our rotator cuff, so we're drawing our hands back as well. You're gonna raise your hands up overhead into what we call the capital Y position. As you can see, my torso is made the shape of a capital Y, and when we pull back down, we call this a W position. So you can see my arms have now made the shape of a W. You're gonna exhale as you come down. So we're gonna go inhale up, and exhale to pull down, and really wrap your upper back over the ball. Inhale to stretch up, and exhale to pull down. I love inhaling when you reach to the ceiling because it gives you that ability to lengthen through your breastbone and almost extend through your upper back. If you're able to, you might even allow your upper back to back bend over the ball and have that sense of really activating through your upper back muscles, your postural muscles. You can go lower in the squat position if you want. Inhale, stretch up, still opening up over the ball. As you pull down, you're trying to pull your elbows back and draw your hands back towards the wall. 2 more. Inhale to stretch up. Exhale to pull back down. 1 more time. And pull back down and open up. Hopefully that feels really good to you.